I have two Ghanaian nurse friends, okay? They're married, a husband and a wife. They're currently practicing in the UK. The husband is an adult nurse, and then the wife is a mental health nurse. The man wants to move to the US, but then the wife is a bit reluctant to move because they've heard negative stuff about the routes for mental health nurses relocating to the US. They've heard stuff like it's a bit difficult for them to start working to get their license, and that the pathway is not straightforward. You have to do some courses, blah, blah, blah. So I'm super excited that you're here today to clarify that. Stop that. I'll let Ida introduce herself, but she's a mental health nurse and she's currently gotten her US license to practice in the US as a mental health nurse in the US, okay? She was obviously trained in Ghana and now she's done that. First of all, congratulations, you've done well.
Thank you.
It's not a pathway that is very common. You hardly hear mental health nurses and midwives trained in Africa move to the US. You hardly hear that. So I'm super proud of you. Can you please introduce yourself?
So my name is Nusrat, but you can call me Ida. I am also a YouTuber. I do content about nursing and a little bit of everything. I also have a Telegram page where I answer questions about the nursing process to the US and all that. So yes, that's what I do. I have worked in the UK as a mental health nurse for a year and a half. Yes.
How long have you been in the US?
I haven't relocated yet. I'm still officially in the UK.
So you're still practicing in the UK?
Yes.
However, you're currently on a visit visa to the US?
Yes. But I do have a license to practice in the US, but before you can actually practice, you have to get your green card. But what you need to do is to first have your license, which I've been able to cross that. So that's why I feel like it's necessary for me to. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Are you just waiting for the green card? The EB3 visa and then the green card so that you can move. Yeah. Wow. Let me ask you this. You already have your US nurse license and very soon you're going to get your green card. Why did you not wait? Why did you insist that you have to go on a visit to the US when you could have gone to Spain? Or do you have family, your fiance? Why?
Yeah, I have family here, so it's just a visit. It's nothing personal about work. It's just a visit.
Okay. How was the whole process like?
Okay, so when I started my journey to the US, it was a bit difficult. I actually started with an agency, but they dropped me. I started with Obrade, and they were like, no, they can't work with me. Initially, they accepted me because I was working in Rich Hospital, where the bed capacity actually meets their requirements, so they accepted me. As time went on, they were like, oh, they can't move on with me again because my nursing certificate is in mental health, so they would want me to go back and do general nursing or something of that sort. So I actually stopped the process and then moved to the UK. So whilst I was in the UK, I actually spoke to a couple of friends and then they mentioned that I should try ERES or Joseph Stilling. So I actually went with Joseph Stilling, sent them my credentials, and then they also requested some transcripts.
You went with what? Joseph what?
Joseph Stilling. They do credential evaluation.
So it's like CGFNS.
Exactly. So they work just like CGFNS, yeah. So I went with them and then they requested my transcript from my school and they also requested NMT to also send them some documents. Then 4 weeks later, they sent me a report and the report was actually good. And it's that report that you need to send to the Board of Nursing. If you get a bad report, you won't be able to proceed with the whole process. Yeah, so that's how it works.
So why did you not use CGFNS and the other ones?
So I used CGNFS initially and they said that I have done nursing, but my certificate doesn't match that of the United States. But Joseph Sini actually gave me a report that says that the nursing that I did, the courses I did in school actually matches that of the United States. So I should be able to take the English. That's the difference with the reports. And once you have that report that the courses that you did actually matches that of the United States, you will be eligible to sit for the English. But if you get a bad report, you won't be able to sit for the English. So it's all about the report you get in the end. CGNFS actually requires you to do a sort of degree if you have done midwifery or psychiatry before you can be able to go with them. But in my case, I had just diploma, and so they were requiring me to go back and do the degree. For my colleagues who already has a degree, they were able to go with CGNFS, and it's worked perfectly.
I'm so happy that you've been able to clarify that. So it's not that it's impossible. It has to do with the credential evaluation service or company that you use. Because sometimes not really accept the diploma. They would say it's not at par with the US education. So after that, then you did your NCLEX.
So after you register with a credential evaluation service, so for instance, if you choose to go with ERS or Giuseppe, you go on their website and do the registration with them, pay the fee, and print out their forms. After you print out the forms, you just take one to NMC, and then you also send one to your school. The school is actually supposed to mail your transcripts, which you're going to use to do the course by course evaluation to see if it actually matches out of the United States. So the school has to mail it directly by courier services to them. And the NMC will also have to do their part. Once they have received all your credentials, they're going to do the course by course evaluation to see if the courses you did in your country actually matches that of the United States. And if it does,
you mentioned NMC. Do you mean NMC UK or NMC Ghana, where you changed?
So from your home country. So for me, I used Ghana, NMC Ghana. So I transferred my license from Ghana to the United States. I don't know whether when you're in the UK, you can transfer the license from UK to the US, but I did mine from Ghana. So NMC Ghana actually did the whole process for me.
So after they get that document from NMC Ghana and document from your training institution back in Ghana, then what happens next?
So after they receive that, before that you would have already stated in the forms that you feel that you want them to send these credentials to maybe this Board of Nursing, say New Mexico Board of Nursing or West Virginia Board of Nursing. So once they have received your credentials, when your credentials is ready, they are just going to send that credentials to the Board of Nursing you've chosen. Then you also have to
the particular state.
Exactly. Yeah. But also you're supposed to register with the Board of Nursing before they send your credentials, so that when they receive it, at least they know where the credentials is coming from or who it's for. So you go on the Board of Nursing website, also register with them and pay the fee.
Why didn't you do the compact state?
Yeah, I registered with the compact state, but you have to reside in the US to actually be able to get like a multi-state license. So the state that I registered with is actually a compact state, but you have to be in the US and prove to them that you have a social security number and all of that before you can be able to get the multi-state license. So once you move here, you can be able to change and then get your compact state license. Yeah.
So for those who are confused and don't know what the compact state license, previously in the US, because each state has its nursing council or board of nursing, you cannot use your license in, let's say, New York to practice in Washington. That was previously the case. However, they came up with this certain number of states where they say if you have a license from any of those states, you can work in the other states that form part of the compact state. So that's what people are doing now. And then she's explained that she registered in a state that is part of the compact state. However, she has to be in the US, actually residing there, to be able to get the multi-state license. So that's clarified.
Sorry for the interruption, guys, but I need to say this. So this video is proudly sponsored by Lemfi. Does it sound familiar? Yes. Lemonade Finance is no more Lemonade Finance. It's now Lemfi. Same old goodness, but this time even much, much better. So Lemfi is a money transfer app that allows you to send money from the UK, Canada to 10 different African countries. Talking about Ghana, talking about Nigeria, Rwanda, Tanzania, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Benin, at no charge at all, no transfer charge. You can send money using Lemfi, whether you use an Android or whether you use an iOS. Just use the link in the description, okay? And for your first transfer above £100, if you use the referral code Nanelle or you use the referral link in the description, you're going to get 10% of the money you're transferring back into your account. So if you send £100, you're going to get £10 back. If you send £200, you're going to get £20 back, but it's capped at £50, okay? Lemfi has the best rates on the market. This is not even a debate. Like, ask everybody, ask around. Best rates ever. Don't believe me? Just give it a try, okay? Ever since I discovered it, that's what myself, my family, and all my friends have been using ever since we discovered it. Make your first transfer now, okay? Lemfi is so reliable. Lemfi is so convenient, and Lemfi is the best transfer app on the market, honestly. Thank you so much, Lemfi, for sponsoring today's video.
So what next after that?
So after you choose your board of nursing and register with them, they will require you to send your fingerprints and also register with Pearson VUE. For the fingerprinting, they require a specific type of fingerprint cards to be used. For some board of nursing, when you go on their website, you can actually print the fingerprint cards, send it to a fingerprinting agency or the police station, and then get your fingerprints taken. On their website, they actually specify where you're supposed to mail the fingerprint cards to. So you can just check on their website and get the mailing address and mail those fingerprint cards to the mailing address stated on the website. Once they have received all your credentials, your CS report, your fingerprint card, they will now require you to register with Pearson VUE. When you register with Pearson VUE, in 2 weeks' time, they will just send your ATT and you can schedule a date for your exam.
Wow. So is the exam the same as what the adult nurse is, right? Is it the same?
Yeah, so the exam is the NCLEX RN, the registered nurse in NCLEX. And when you get your license, you can be able to practice as a registered general nurse. That's what we call it, but it's over here, it's like registered nursing. So it's general nursing. So for instance, I am a psychiatric nurse, but I won't have the title psychiatric nurse in the US. I will have the title registered nurse. And if you want to have that title, say psychiatric nurse or midwife, you have to go and do like the master's program where you can have that title as a psychiatric nurse or that, because they don't have anything like psychiatric general nursing or psychiatric registered nursing or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, so you have to do the specialization like a master's.
Yes,
program.
yes, you have to.
How many years?
Over here, what I realized about the US is that with some courses, you can do it online. So probably some people can take it in a year, but you should have your bachelor's first. Once you have your bachelor's, you can do like the master's program in a year. But it depends on the school and how long you prefer to do
So
it.
that means there is some form of truth about the rumors around that you have to go to school again to be able to practice as a. So that means there's some form of truth about it. Then.
Yeah, so you can practice in the US as a nurse, but
As an RN, but not
yes,
like
yeah. But some of the RNs also work in a psychiatric hospital. For instance, I personally have received like job offers asking me to come and work in a mental health institution, but my license here is RN, but I can be able to work in a mental health institution if I want to. But I don't know for the midwives.
Wow, this is really insightful. So, how long did the whole process take for you to finally get there?
So the whole registration process took about 4 months.
Okay.
Because
Wow.
the school has to fill the transcript, send it to them, then NMC and all that. But the whole process is not supposed to take long. But I think where the delay comes in is when the school has to send your transcripts and NMC also has to do their bits and all that. Yeah.
Wow. How did you prepare for the NCLEX? And did you get the new generation NCLEX or you did the old one?
So I was able to do it right before the new generation NCLEX. I actually did the old one. Yeah, the preparation was quite difficult because I was learning by myself. I bought some question banks. I had Acha, I had UWorld, and I had Sanda. So I was doing the preparation all by myself. Yeah.
You've done really well. Wow. Wow. You had 1 year experience in the UK. Why did you decide to leave?
Well, personally, I didn't want to do mental health anymore. So I just wanted to be in a place where I can do the psychiatry without having to go back to school and do the whole general nursing again. And I know that with the US, if I'm able to take like the NCLEX and I get my RN license, I can be able to practice as a general nurse. That was one reason, and there are other reasons that I'm not comfortable to share.
What was the most challenging part of the entire process and how much money did you spend on it?
Honestly, the challenging part of the process was the whole fingerprinting thing, because initially I wasn't sure where to send my fingerprint cards, but once I was able to know like what to do next, what to do with the fingerprint cards, then it was easy. It's actually very easy and straightforward, but if you don't know what you're supposed to do, that is when you would struggle a bit.
Say the most challenging part is the NCLEX. That means you're
Yeah.
shy, because if the fingerprint is your headache, then I don't know.
Well, I wasn't sure I was going to get my ATT, so I wasn't even studying at all until I got my ATT. That was when I actually started studying for the NCLEX. So yeah, the NCLEX was, everybody knows NCLEX is stressful. So yeah, the NCLEX part was very stressful.
How many months do you use to study?
So in the first 3 months, I was just using simple nursing and then solving a few questions, and I took the exams and failed.
Yeah, YouTube or they have a book?
I actually did a subscription. So I was watching the videos. Yeah, I was watching the videos online. Yeah, that was what I did. And I failed the first time. So after I failed in the first 3 months, I actually decided to study harder than before.
So you did the NCLEX twice?
Yeah, I did it twice.
Okay.
Well, the first time I thought it was a joke. I was actually so when I failed the first time, that was when it was the second, and I actually wasn't ready. I knew I wasn't ready, but my APT was about to expire. And I was like, okay, let me take it. I really wanted to reschedule. I remember calling PSNB and they were like, you should have called earlier, it's too late. So I had no choice than to sit for the exam. So it was just 3 months and I knew I wasn't ready, but I actually went ahead to take it. And then after I didn't make it the first time, I studied for another 3 months and then I was able to.
Wow.
So
once
in
you
total,
get ACT and it expires, and then let's say you have to rewrite, what happens? Do you have to apply for another ACT?
So it's very frustrating. I pray that nobody goes through that. Once your ACT expires, you might have to start the entire process again. You may have to do the fingerprinting. If your registration with the Board of Nursing expires, which does, it also expires. So for some Board of Nursing, it's just for 6 months. The registration is for 6 months. For some, it's for a year. So it depends on the Board of Nursing that you are using. If it expires, you have to re-register with the Board of Nursing, do your fingerprinting cards again, pay PSNB for registration again, and then pay for your exam fee again. So it's like starting the entire process again, man. It's just the only thing different is your CS report. So you have to start the entire process again. So you don't have to.
Your school and your the NMC has to send the document again.
No.
Okay.
Because they already have your CS report, so they wouldn't have to send again. So it's just like sending. It's the entire process minus that. So you have to do everything again, pay all the fees, registration with the Board of Nursing, with PSNB, your exam fee and all that. It's really stressful. So it's better you don't allow your ACT to expire. In fact, if you're not ready for the exam, just call and reschedule 24 hours before your exam date so that you save yourself the stress. So the cost involved will be about $1,200 to $1,500, yes. Minus the question banks and then the other things that you buy.
Wow.
It's not inclusive yet.
I think it's worth it. Anytime I talk to a nurse who has moved from the UK to the US, I feel like starting my process, but I start and I stop, I start and I stop. So how different is this from the RN process? It's basically the same as the RN process. The only thing is that you have to get your evaluation. If you're a diploma psychiatric nurse, you have to get your evaluation from
ERES. Yes. ERES of the sex.
So what would be your advice to people that want to embark on this journey, especially mental health nurses? What do you really you knew then that you did not know, or you know now?
Okay, so before then, I didn't know that I could use my diploma. I was like, okay, maybe I have to do my degree. But now I know that if I come to the US, I can do my degree in 6 months. I can do my degree in a year. I can do my degree in 3 months and all that. So yes, I mean, it's quite flexible. It's difficult when you don't know the process, but once the process is laid out, just take advantage of it and then use it. So yes, that's my advice. But
are there any agencies that assist mental health nurses that you found along the way?
Honestly, no. Yeah, so you might have to take up the cost and everything by yourself. But once you get your license, you have a lot of agencies reaching out to you who will be willing to file for you.
So from those from back home, I think the main thing will be the money, because you at least were working in the UK and earning.
Yeah.
But for those who are mental health nurses and then they want to move to the US, but from back in Africa or Asia, and then they have to struggle to get this 1,000 whatever plus without the question banks. Wow, that would be the struggle. But I wish everybody all the best. If you have any questions, I'll leave Ida's YouTube channel here, a screenshot of it so you can reach her, and her social media handles as well. Links to her social media handles in the description so you can reach out to her. She just went through the process. The process is still fresh in her mind, so it will be the best time to contact her for advice and maybe join her Telegram as well. So thank you so much, Ida. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nanelle. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.